Hi, welcome to Art Talk. My name is Carrie Filiberto, and I am the Gallery Director at Corthill Gallery. Today we were going to discuss lighting, but I've recently had many questions with regards to spatial relationships, meaning what size of painting should I get for my space, and also how best to hang my artwork. So today we're going to discuss both of those topics. First, there are some principles around the size, choosing the specific size of a piece of artwork. For instance, you should measure your space. If you have other items on your walls, if you have chair rails or furniture underneath, you need to consider all of these when you're measuring and making your decisions around artwork. You want to look at the space as a shape. So for instance, over a sofa, you may see that you have a rectangular shape would fit best above your sofa. A couple of principles to keep in mind with hanging above sofas, tables, beds, and mantels is that you should always allow about approximately 6 to 8 inches above whatever you're hanging. Not so high that it becomes disjointed, and not so low that it feels compromised. A second principle to follow when you're choosing your artwork is the 2/3 rule. When I say this, it's measuring the width of the space above what it's hanging above. For instance, if you have a 9-foot sofa, you would want to have the larger scale piece in there that make it balanced, and that would be approximately 6 feet in its width. This would fill the space nicely, and putting something too small would feel unbalanced in the space. There are several ways to hang artwork. We use here in the gallery is a hanging system, which is used for both commercial and residential application. It allows us to put artwork on the walls without putting the nails. These slide across the railing, and they also have hooks that slide up and down the cables. But today what we're going to show you is actually how do you use a picture hook and get success out of your measurements. So first there are some tools that you'll need. You'll need a tape measure. You will need a level, and preferably one, doesn't have to be this long, but one that has the bubble in there so that you can be very sure of being level. Some painter's tape, a pencil, your hammer, and also your hook. The first thing that we're going to do is actually measure the overall space that you are going to be hanging your painting in. Now I've already measured this space and know that my center point of where I want to hang this is 52 inches. And I have already put a piece of tape on my wall that marks this. You can also use a pencil and simply put a small line there. The next measurement that you will need is to measure up to what we call the average viewing height. The average viewing height is 57 to 60 inches. That gives you some leeway to make sure that their horizon or the perspective of your painting is at the height that works for you and still have a successful outcome. So if we measure, in this case, I have a painting where the perspective is down in the lower quadrant of the painting. I want to bring that up a little bit higher for my viewing. So instead of putting my line at 57, I've placed the top of my painter's tape at 59 inches. If you're not using the tape, you can always use just a pencil, and you want to make several different marks along at that same height, 59 inches. The next thing I would do is make sure that that line is perfectly level. So you can see I'll put my level at the top of my tape, and my level is telling me this is perfectly level line. If you are making several different marks, just make a wonderful light line with your pencil, and it would serve the same purpose. You need that measurement to calculate your next measurement. The second number that you will need is to measure your painting, the overall dimensions of the height of the painting. In this case, I'm working with a painting that is 38 inches. You want to take 1/2 of that measurement, so 19 inches. So my second measurement, I'm going to measure from the top of my 59 inches up to 19 inches and put my second mark or my second piece of tape. This now gives me where I want the height of my painting to land so that it places my viewing point in the middle of the wall, middle of the space. The last thing, number that you need is actually where does the hook go? Now that you have these measurements, you now need to find out where do I hang my picture hook. The way that you do this is by measuring. I'm just going to turn this around so that you have a better view. If you have a piece like this that is up to 36 inches wide, you can use one picture hook, and I would use, again, what's appropriate to the weight of your painting. A 50-pound would always secure it. You want to take your wire that's going to be hanging from, and you want to pull it as taut as you can, as if the full weight of the painting is actually hanging from your hand. And pull up and then make this measurement. This measures 3.5 inches. So I know that I want the bottom of my hook to be at 3.5 inches. The last mark that you need to make on your wall is take your pencil, come down from the very top of where the painting's going to hang, and come down and place a mark at 3.5 inches. Again, you want to make sure that you're coming right along that center line so that your painting is again centered in the space. So the last part of this is to actually putting your hook into the wall. And if you don't have a stud in the wall to hook into, that's fine, because this particular type of hook is made to go into drywall as well. It's very stable. So if you are putting in the one hook, you want to line up the bottom of the hook where the wire is going to be hanging on, that little cradle, and you're just going to simply tap in this hook to where it's appropriate. So now that we have our artwork, I can measure my painting again, just again to confirm that I have my painting in that perfect viewing level. 59 inches places my painting just about the right height for viewing, and again, you can adjust this up or down as needed based on your own comfort level. But if you use this for any of your artwork, all consistently through your home, you'll find that there's a cohesiveness to the art collection. So keep in mind that these same rules apply to a single piece that apply to a grouping of work. If you're grouping a group of work, they should be spaced dependent on the size of wall that they're hanging on, that spatial relationship, keep that in mind. If you have a larger wall, your spaces between the pieces that you're grouping should be no more than 4 to 6 inches. And if you're working on a smaller wall, you can bring those all the way into 2 to 4 inches. If you're looking at the pieces on my left here, you can see that I've actually separated these pieces by 6 inches. It gives each one a breathing room, but yet makes them one cohesive unit. If you're hanging these and you're using the same measurements, you want to think of this as one size, one overall size. And again, figuring out where is your midpoint in here, and again, working off that for your calculations. So again, you would measure up your 59 inches. You would take and measure to the height of your top of your pieces, and then come back down to find where that hook should go. Measure down 6 inches, and then measure down where the hook would go for the second piece. And you'll notice that, again, when I suggested that you need to keep 6 to 8 inches between your furniture, your sofa, your sideboard, your mantelpiece, as I have just a little bit extra in here at 11 inches, and that's so that this specific piece of artwork would stand alone. I hope this segment of Art Talk has assisted you in choosing the best piece of artwork for your space, but also in how to hang them successfully. Join me again for Art Talk for our next segment.